This podcast discusses themes of mental health, which some people may find emotive, such as suicide or other adult-themed content. The information contained in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. All views expressed are solely those of individuals involved and do not represent the opinions of any entity whatsoever with which we have been, are now, or will be affiliated. The information is not meant to diagnose or treat any mental health condition. If you're experiencing mental health symptoms, we encourage you to contact a mental health service within your community. If you're experiencing a mental health emergency, please seek the relevant support and interventions by presenting to your local accident and emergency department or contacting the relevant emergency services.
You're listening to the Men's Mental Health Podcast, The Man Hug.
Welcome to The Man Hug, the monthly men's mental health podcast. I'm Dean McShane.
I'm Dan Cooper.
I'm Ian Pearce-Hayes.
And I'm Conleth Kelly.
Each month we will discuss a different topic related to men's mental health, which will include a guest speaker who will discuss their own personal story. And each month we will also be showcasing an organisation or charity within the Merseyside area who work within mental health to help build your signposting skills. Okay, hello and welcome to this month's Man Hug. This month we are focusing on the theme of Addiction Revisited, and we're joined by two more amazing guests. A little later on we will hear from Chris Puddephatt from the Spider Project, who will be telling us all about their Silk Team, which is a service set up to help families of those with addictions. Our first guest joined us on our second ever episode nearly 2.5 years ago, and with the release of his autobiography yesterday, it was only right we invited him back on to talk about that and have a catch up on everything that he's been up to. So Chris, thank you so much for joining us again.
Because I know it's been, when was it, last year was it?
2.5 years.
2.5 years ago. Wow.
Yeah,
time fly. That's flown, yeah. No, thanks for having us on again.
Amazing. So before we talk all things Keeping It Quiet, your new autobiography, just tell us a little bit about how you've been.
I've been really good. Yeah, the last 3.5 years. So what's it been now off the painkillers and the antidepressants? Yeah, it's been over 3.5 years now. So, but yeah, it's took a lot of help getting there. And being honest was the biggest thing. So it was April the 17th, 2022 when I finally come out and told everyone the truth around the addiction. I think that you can only start to put things in place. It doesn't end then, it doesn't make things better, but you can only, when you tell the truth, that's where it starts, and then it's about having a structure, routine and a support around you to stop you from going back on them, and thankfully managed to do that. The biggest thing that's probably stopped it is the drug test at home. Yeah. So they've been, knowing they're there and knowing I can't get away with it, they've been the best thing we ever did. And I speak to a lot of people now around alcohol and stuff like that, and I said, right, get a breathalyzer at home. You know, get the person in the house to test you when you get home or when you're going out and stuff. So if you need to stop, which I did, or so that have killed me, you have to put everything in place. So they've been the best things we've done. But a lot of support for everyone. The foundation have been brilliant. The club, you know, friends, family, people I've never even spoke to before have got in touch. So, but it's still hard. It's not over. I know it's not over. It's still every day. It's always on my mind every day. And I think it always will be. Mm.
It's good to hear you've been doing so well, because I think last time when you were on the podcast, you were really open, saying at the moment I'm really struggling with my mental health, and I remember you saying, you know, you were going to I think see the doctor the next day, and you know it was a time where you were really kind of struggling. So it's great to see that, you know, you're now much better and you're getting all that support.
Like we all do, still have crap days, but they're more few and far between now. But those days that are crap, I don't reach for any pills, or don't go down that route, which is great, but some days you just gotta, no matter what you do, people all say exercise, talking, I'm massive for that, I do it every day. Some days even after you've done that you still feel shit, and those are the days where you got to really dig deep and get through it and go again the next day. It takes you a while to learn it though, and to accept it, because nobody likes feeling bad and nobody wants to wake up in the morning and think I can't be bothered today. But it happens to everyone.
Yeah, and you're really good as well at documenting it and openly and honestly. I've seen on your social media where you've said, "Oh, I've just took myself out for a big walk. Didn't feel like it this morning, but God, I'm glad I did." And, you're really really good at sort of like giving that kind of advice. One thing we need to talk about is a cap that you got, but it wasn't an England cap in the interim period of us last meeting. Honorary doctorate of philosophy. Tell us about that. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I must admit, I never really knew what it entailed. And listen, there's many more people that deserve it more than me, and I do say that generally, and I mean it as well. There's a lot of people who've done a lot more amazing work that will never get the recognition they deserve, and I feel as I've sort of cheated my way there a little bit because of who I am, my profile and stuff, and that's not being big-headed, but there's a lot of people that will never get the recognition they deserve for some amazing work they do. So, it was last year, and again, I had no idea like how big it was. I literally thought you'd turn up, get a medal and that'll be it, or whatever, hat and that'll be it. But I mean, turned up at Edge Hill and there was like 1,000 people there. It was in the big, so it was great that the wife and daughter were there. But what that'll help us do is open more doors, hopefully, and still do a lot of stuff at Edge Hill now. So I'm the ambassador up there now. Followed on from that to still do a lot of work up there.
Yeah, that's amazing. What an honour to get it, and to say for your family to be there as well. It's a really good.
They were great. They don't call me doctor though. They call me something else being in the house. Yeah, but they've never called me. They've never called me doctor.
God, where's the respect?
Yeah, I think everyone knows what the other word is. They call me in the house. But it's it is. Listen, it's an honour because I know a lot of people obviously get them, but. Yeah, mine are dedicated to everyone that wouldn't get one or don't get the recognition they deserve.
Get it. Make sure on your passport you get it changed from Mr.
I've
to
definitely
doctor.
not done that.
A couple of upgrades.
Everyone's telling me to do that, but my wife and daughter said if I do, they won't get in the line with me. I won't go to the front of the desk.
There's always a risk, though, isn't it? If someone collapses and they say, "Is there a doctor?" and you go,
"Yes, I definitely won't do that."
So your book, then, mate, it was released yesterday.
It was, yeah. So listen, it's something I never thought I'd do, and if it was just about the football, I wouldn't have done it. Because listen, there's many more players that have had much better careers than me and much more high profile than me. But I did it because of the other stuff. I did it because of the mental health and the addiction and the anxiety and stuff like that. So that's the main reason. Obviously, all the football stuff's in there and family stuff. A lot about the dogs. People know I love my dogs. More than I do humans, apart from everyone in this room. But it was something. It was the only one I do. I ain't gonna do another one because I don't think you can. There's, I've told it all in here, and because it's been the last 3.5 years, I've been off them as well. It's got the recovery stage in it as well. So it's hopefully, like I said, it's something that I'm proud of. When I first got asked, I thought I'm not sure, but the way they've done it and handled it, and the people that have done it, and Rob and Curtis Sports and what's Tales? I forgot the name now. Terrace Tales. Sorry. They've made it so easy to do.
Brilliant.
And it's also been really therapeutic as well. So there's a lot of stuff that I've forgot that I've had to lean on other people for, friends and families. When they've asked certain questions, I've had to ask people, do you remember this? So it's helped me remember a lot more things, which is great.
Yeah. Just for a lot of people who don't know, Chris, just tell us a bit about the process of that then, because it's kind of an autobiography. It's like, you're trying to look for all of the key things in your life, aren't you? So what's that process?
So they break it down. So Rob and they break it down. So he's the ghostwriter. You have plenty of meetings, plenty of phone calls, Zooms, and then they'll go through different stages. So obviously you'll start off with your family life when you're younger, if you can remember stuff. So I was asking my sisters for pictures and growing up, and then stories, and then obviously through your football career. So they break it down into stages, so you're not overwhelmed with having to go from this to that to that. You do it in different stages, but yeah, they listen. The ghostwriter and the publishers do most of the hard work. They then piece it all together. You obviously have the final proofread and check it and making amendments and stuff, but it's been really, really enjoyable doing it.
We have a lot of people who come on to the podcast who find things like journaling really beneficial, or like keeping a diary or whatever, because you're getting all of your thoughts and feelings out onto a piece of paper, aren't you, really?
Well, that's what they do in rehab. So when that's the big thing in rehab. Yeah, I think when people tell you things, but when you see things written down, it hits home more, I think. So yes, I don't really do journal. If I've got things to remember, I'll jot it down or note it down. But I don't. Yeah, I did when I first come out of rehab. Did a journal religious for about a year or so. But then I didn't need. I don't feel I've needed to the last couple of years because I know my routine now and I know what I need to do. Yeah, and then I know if I need to talk to people, I do.
Yeah. How was that process then? Because you say, you're having to dive into some of your darkest moments for this book, It's a bit like talking to a counsellor or something, isn't it, really? You're kind of reliving it. How did you find all of that?
Tough. But the hardest thing, I think, is when you're going through addiction and mental health, you're sort of blindsided, so you don't see what's going on around you. And you don't see the way it's affected people around you. And you do when you come out of it. And I have done over the last 3.5 years. And hearing what my daughter and my wife have said, and how it really affected them and how it hurt them, and seeing that the person they love going through it, that was hard. That was really hard. But like I said, without them, I certainly wouldn't be here now. But seeing it in words, it's really hit. But it's made me even more determined not to go back down that route again.
Amazing. And the title, Keeping It Quiet, wasn't it?
Simple, innit? Yeah. So it was quite easy straight away. They said, when they contacted us, said, listen, this is what I want to call it, and I think it's fitting. Yeah. Obviously it's got the goalkeeping in it with the keeping, but keeping it quiet, because look, we all do, don't we? We all don't talk enough, and we, especially when you're struggling, and particularly around addiction, you do keep things quiet, because even though it's wrong what you're doing, the addiction, particularly with addiction, it tells you that you can't tell anyone. He wants to be selfish and keep you to yourself. With that in mind, what you're hoping for the book to achieve? Just, I know everyone says it, but for people not to go down the way that I did, and to feel the way that I did for 10 years more or less, because it wasn't a nice place to be, and to hopefully give people the encouragement. That's to say, I talk about it at the end, the biggest regret, and people say you shouldn't have regrets, but it's impossible. Everyone's got regrets, and my biggest one is not telling people in 2012, 2016 when I retired, and 2019 when I come out of rehab. So that's my biggest regret, and that cost me and my family and for 10 years of my life. Is that kind of why you felt the book was the right time to do it, mate? Because it's a kind of... Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I got asked before a few years ago, and I wasn't in any, the right state at all then. But I did it, for that reason, because I've had so many friends and family open up after it that I had no idea they were struggling. And like I say, if you've got the ability to help people, especially because I've been given so much help over the years, if you've got the ability to do that and you want to do it, then do it. Yeah, brilliant. And if this helps, then great. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to resonate with so many people, and because from the clubs where you've played football, it's going to resonate with a lot of fans as well. People who've looked up to you. So it's an amazing thing. Do you have like a plan of what you're going to do? Any book tours or anything with it, or? Well, I don't think I'm high profile. So we've got the club. We're talking to clubs in a minute. So I've got one at Sheffield Wednesday on the 29th. They're going in the club store and doing it there. Wigan are going to do one. Excellent. Just waiting on Liverpool now. Liverpool will do it as well. Yeah. And then we've got a few evenings and bits and bobs. We're at Hotel Anfield. So it'll just be. We're just in the process of sorting it all out now. Yeah. Aiming for all the fans. Amazing. So, Alfie squad, we were talking about it before. You've been very busy the last year, walking up the big one with our Dan there in Blackpool. I heard how... I bought away our Dan. You like that? The favourite part of it all for me was when you were at the front, weren't you? Yeah. And you said, can anybody else feel it swaying? And your daughter was behind you, and she turned round, and she was like... And then the person behind her turned round and was like... And we were all like... What's he on about? I think it's because you're so tall. Perhaps the wind was catching you more than us. But we got a good day to do it as well, because I think it wasn't as windy, was it? But apparently they do it like even when it's blowing a gale. But I would not. I mean, I've never been keen on heights. Yeah. But I must admit, when I got to the top, I was thinking, I want to go back down. Yeah, I believe it was pretty hairy. Yeah. So from that, and then obviously the weekend looked amazing. Just tell us about the race for a reason. Yeah, so Alison asked us a few months ago, and it's one of them, I always say yes to everything, and then when it comes near the time, I was thinking, this could be, but it was amazing from start to finish. The organisation that went behind it from Alison and the team and Andrea, they've done that, and they were super stressed. Like, Alison was shattered. Yeah. She didn't do the race, but she was shattered when, like, Sunday night, and she's messaged us today, but... It was great. You got all families obviously affected by suicide, and they're doing it, and friends that are doing it for someone they've lost through suicide. So it was, and some of the kids, some of the families did it as well that have lost somebody in their family. And it was just the way it was organised. It was carnage. It was laughs. It was missing trains. It was stress, but it was everything and more that you'd hope it would be. And
so the purpose was to get from one location to another.
Started at Anfield on it was meant to be outside the Cop, but because of the weather was so bad, Hotel Anfield had it in there, which was great. So it was from there we went to Bolton, Blackpool, Carlisle, Darlington, Sheffield. Newcastle, Sheffield. Then the Norwich one was you're thinking we're going to get sent down here, but didn't realise it was going to be that far. And then up to then Cambridge, and then into London, and London on Sunday. So it was over 3 days. But you had to get a picture of famous landmarks within those places where you were going. Then you had to get to the next checkpoint, and then that's when you found out the next clue. And you had to solve the clue before you found out where you're going next. So it's like, I'd do 100% do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get much sleep. You were tired, but everyone then ate together at night as well, which was nice.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well. Yeah. Any idea how much you've raised?
I think it's up to about 60,000 now.
Wow, that's incredible. Well done.
Still going. Yeah.
Amazing.
Listen, Alfie, with him tomorrow night. This thing we're talking in town. Yeah. He will get a Pride of Britain award.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I think and the rest. Yeah, and the rest. Because it was me and Alfie that did it, so we were filmed the whole way around, so we were in the team together.
Brilliant.
And I've seen a clip. I got sent a clip yesterday where didn't make him. It was the only thing we could do where we got the bikes out in London, not the electric ones. The bike. He said, "I've not been on a bike since I was about 6." I said, "Well, you're gonna have to ride, aren't you?" So we either ride or we walk, and it's 11 miles. So he got on, but then they sent me a clip where he's absolutely abused us, and he's swearing on it, saying, "I've not been on an effing bike for 60. Like Chris Kirkland's making me do all this," and we were with 2 other guys as well, so we teamed up at the end and went with these 2 other guys and said, "Look, we'll stick together because you know where this one is, we know where this one is, so let's do it all together." So yeah, poor Alfie was absolutely goosed after it. But yeah,
you had some fun because he's an Evertonian,
we had some
brilliant
fun. There was some of the other, like a couple of the girls. Teams as well. We ended up being around them quite a lot as well, and there was a lot of stick, a lot of bat. It's one of the best things I've done.
Brilliant.
And I would definitely do it again.
That's incredible. Yeah, look, we were following on the socials, and it did look amazing. You know.
Well, the documentary with the film, when you see that, hopefully someone will pick that up because. It will be great to view it all from everyone's point of view.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It'll give you an insight of what Alfie's squad is and how needed it is as well.
It's amazing. We had Alfie on the podcast, and I think I said, for your age, I'd probably still vote you as the health minister right now. He
talks so well, though.
Oh, that's exactly it.
He talks so well, and he's not doing it for attention. No. He's not doing it for,
he's just passionate, isn't he?
Give me sympathy, and he's doing it for the right reasons, and all the kids love him, the parents love him, and he talks so well when he does it, and he's doing it because if you can do things for other people when you're in pain and through the worst devastation you can go through, losing somebody like that, to try and turn that into helping other people, he deserves everything he's going to get.
Yeah, he's incredible. We absolutely
and
love him.
Alison, I mean,
yes,
without Alison it wouldn't be possible as well. Both of them together are special people.
I've never seen anybody get so much use out of a tuxedo.
Yeah.
He looks well in it though.
He does.
He's mature. He's just. Yeah, I mean, was he now 16?
Yeah.
Did brilliant at his GCSEs. He's just a bright lad that's got a big future.
He has. Do you know what's really lovely as well? Because obviously this month's Men's Health Month, and a lot of people grow moustaches and things during Men's Health Month, but you never see where the money goes to, and when you see that you've made such an impact to somewhere like Alfie's squad, that could keep them going for a couple of years just based off what you've done there. And I think that's the power of, if you do something for a local organisation in service, it means they keep the lights on a lot longer,
Well, the aim for them is as well to make this nationwide, because there isn't much support for families and kids, particularly children that have lost parents or carers to suicide. So the idea is, I think there's talk of Sheffield United Foundation going to do it. Chelsea obviously are interested. That's why the race finished there.
Amazing.
So I think that the hope is that this is going to be up and down the country. But first and foremost, they want to look after people. I mean, to be fair though, they have. I mean, Bolton's opening one up now as well. Before that, we had a couple. A family, a wife, and the 2 kids that used to travel to Alfie's squad every week from Bolton, just to come in, just to come into the session, which I think speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? I remember Alison saying, when she went on this morning, and by the time she'd got home, there was people from all over the country emailing saying, can you set one up here, can you set one up here, and sadly that's the need. But I know the online one's been extremely beneficial for families as well who have not, had the travelling. But what an amazing thing to be a part of as well. And, you're wearing a Liverpool crest, he's a massive Evertonian,
there was plenty of that. Yeah, there was plenty of that talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got asked why I got involved, and obviously, listen, I've stood on a roof and I was going to jump off, and when I first got asked a few years ago when I met Alfie, it was for he come to one of my training sessions, goalkeeper, and then found out more, and then I got asked, and I thought, if I did commit suicide those years ago, my daughter wouldn't have, would there be a service like that for her, and that's why I wanted to get involved, to hopefully make sure that you can hopefully try and prevent it first and foremost if you can, but then if the devastation does happen and families do lose people to suicide, there needs to be support there for them, and Alfie's squad gives that in abundance.
That's so true. When we had Alfie on, we had Angela Samata, who had the BBC documentary Life After Suicide, and she said the same, said there was nothing for her kids when she lost her husband, absolutely nothing. I think that's why she's really passionate about the project as well.
I think the biggest thing with the kids as well, they're around other kids that have been through it.
Of course.
And the school friends, even though they've got some brilliant friends, people don't understand something like that unless you're with other people that have been through it, and that's why the group and the partners that have been that have lost somebody as well, they all get together and they have talks. I went and did a quiz with them the other week, so it's about them as well. It's about giving so they can talk to other people that have lost somebody to suicide as well, so it's the whole network that it supports.
And what about your work with the foundation? What types of things you've been up to?
I love it, honestly. Yeah. So I'm the ambassador in the community. So different things, everything's different all the time. So it can be in colleges, schools. There's obviously football involved. We do walking football with the elderly. Different. Yeah, I just love everything about the foundation. I've been offered back into football, but I love what I do with this too much to go back in, because I'd have to give it all up, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
And Liverpool, I'm passionate about Liverpool. We're not from Liverpool, but we've lived here 24 years. This is our home. My daughter was born here. This is our community, so to be able to do what I do within Liverpool is a pretty special thing to do.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Good on you. So I suppose like the big final plug, people are going to want your book. How do they get it?
It's on the socials. It's all the links are on. Yeah, so on it. So on my X account. I've got no idea to use them. My daughter has to do them. Honestly, I'm terrible.
Just search Chris Kirkland.
Just search it and it'll be up. Yeah, but it's through Curtis Sport.
Yeah.
So the links are there. Yeah, and it'll be over the next few weeks, couple of months that we'll be promoting, and then there'll be events as well. Hoping we're going to get into the fan zone at Anfield at some point, which will be good. And then Sheffield, all the other clubs, it'll be somewhere. Yeah, we're just confirming dates at the minute.
Brilliant. Well, keep up all the amazing work you're doing.
You guys too, as well, because
honestly.
you're very successful and you help a lot of people as well. So keep doing what you lot do as well. You only give us a chance to do stuff like this and tell our story because of the work you lot do as well.
Oh, thank you.
So
appreciate it.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chris. Cheers.
No worries. Thank you.
You're listening to the Men's Mental Health Podcast, The Man Hug.
Okay, to this part of the Man Hug when we, the hosts, have a natter about the theme, and this is a subject we covered in episode 2 when we were joined by Chris Kirkland and Mel Bowen of the Spider Project. And in a while, we will have Chris Puddephatt joining us to talk about the Spider Project. So I was reading and discovered that mindfulness and emotional regulation can play a significant role in managing and reducing addictions. And there are some evidence-based approaches such as mindfulness-based relapse prevention or MBRP, and this combines mindfulness with cognitive behavioural strategies to help prevent relapse. Some people might have heard of DBT as well, dialectical behavioural therapy. I think we spoke about that when we were talking about personality disorders, but again this can focus on emotional regulation and distress tolerance, often used for addiction treatment. And acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT, and this encourages acceptance of cravings and emotions while committing to value-based actions. So I thought this might be a nice little point to do a short mindful talk with my fellow co-hosts with some questions from an activity that I've got that focuses on emotions and being mindful. So boys, don't be scared, you'll see I have some cards in front of me.
Pick a card.
We don't know what they are.
This is like a flashback to the
Dad,
magic
you're in my eye line at the moment.
God.
So would you like mindfulness or emotion?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Okay, describe a time when you forgave someone and how did it make you feel? We don't need names, just the experience.
Can we go for the emotion card instead? Describe a time.
Dad doesn't forgive.
Describe a time. What's right?
Describe a time when you forgave someone. How did it make you feel?
Oh God. How long have you got? Right. So.
I think it's a really good topic to talk about forgiveness, because as men, it's something again we don't talk about. We're getting good at talking about emotions, but things like guilt and anger and rage and
do you want something big, which kind of almost defined my life, or do you want something like I told one of my kids off yesterday, and I've forgiven them. So one of the biggest things in my life was when my dad left. Didn't speak to him for 4 years. And the only person that ended up affecting was me, because I harboured all those things that you just described, sort of the hate. I wrote some really bad songs about the hatred towards my dad, and just I thought to myself one day, I thought, this is making me a much worse person. I was perhaps drinking too much in my early 20s myself, and not it wasn't achieving anything. So I made the decision to forgive him and got back in touch, and lo and behold, I felt a lot better following that. So yeah, that's probably one big example, I suppose. That's
a really big one, isn't it? And understanding how it made you feel, for, as you said, for yourself, for the better for you, then that's the key thing, isn't it?
That's beautiful, that, Don. I always think as well, I've always been a big fan of westerns, and I always think, for me it's always better, revenge, but then there's always that thing, isn't there? If you want revenge, dig 2 holes, and it's that, isn't it? And it's understanding about one of those holes is for you, isn't it? And it's that, I think. So that's beautiful. Well, that's well shared. Not sure I'll go. What choice did you make there? Yeah.
Come on, emotional.
What did Dan go for?
Mindfulness.
Oh gosh, I'll go emotion.
Emotion, okay. So Ian, your question. When was the last time you felt lonely, and what made you feel better?
Gosh. Well, I've just retired, and you'd said to me, we'd be interested in terms of that retirement. So obviously there's part of the reason for retiring was my dad had been unwell, and my dad died, and I made the decision to retire. I guess if I'm honest, I've always so I've been keeping a journal. That was the point. That just very little, very brief, but I felt really flat and lonely about 2 weeks or so ago. I guess like with all people, I guess we all struggle at different times. And I felt really flat last week. I think it was a number of reasons and stuff for it, and I actually managed to get out on my bike. Didn't see anyone or speak to anyone for that day, but I think just part of that just made me feel, and then I did catch up with people and stuff as well, spoke to my wife and told her I'd been feeling flat and stuff as well. So I guess it's that, isn't it? Sometimes I think, God, I'm part of this podcast, and sometimes our own advice about talking to people and not actually stating how you feel, we're all guilty of that, and it just made me realise that I was really, really flat. And I think just realising that and then just talking to my partner just helped me in terms of that. And it was only a day or so, but I've always had these sort of episodes and periods where I've actually felt that, and it was just one of those times that I felt a little bit a bit alone and a bit empty and stuff.
It's good to hear you've done the right thing by talking to someone close as well, and obviously you can always reach out to us and talk if you feel like that again.
I think it's also important as well, because people might listen to us because they've got it all sorted. I think alluded to this whenever we did the conference, where it goes, no, I still have issues. I don't share on things because I know I've got to do it. Like,
do you know what? It was that I remember you telling me that, and you were saying about how you'd shared with me in terms about how anxious you get in terms going into a crowded room, and I was thinking, bloody hell, you're one of the most, everyone, and you get, and I thought the fact you did that.
That was no, seriously, last night I felt like that.
And I get that, and that's why for me, me and Conleth went out and met last night, but we both went, but I was pleased knowing that you were going. As it was a really nice event, and loads of people just sort of chatting and stuff like that. But you're right, there is that, and it just shocked me when you told me about that, because I always see you as a very confident, person in company and stuff as well. And when you told me that, I was really taken aback. So just goes to show, doesn't it?
I think if we had got it all sorted, then we wouldn't be doing this podcast. Really. At the end of the day.
It's Dean then, because Dean's definitely sorted it. Sorted all this.
I am just literally just winging it.
I sort of fall fast asleep on Saturday night, just leaving that.
But that's one of the lovely things about the podcast is we've been there for each other over the last 2.5 years, doing different things, it's not just a podcast. It's become a brotherhood. It's similar to like when I've been in bands in the past, you develop a relationship with people, which is very, well, I feel this way about you guys anyway. It's very deep, and we would perhaps open up and talk to each other about things that we perhaps wouldn't talk to other friend groups about because we've got that shared experience of doing this.
And we've done that, haven't we? And I think
we have
done that. Not something that's special about it. I agree. Yeah.
And Conleth, over to you.
No, I think you
mindfulness or emotion? No, I'm going last. Mindfulness or emotion?
I'll go for
I'm the quizmaster.
I'll go for emotions.
Emotions, of course you will. What is a way you can show someone that you care about them? I wish you did.
I have to admit, and I know there'd be jokes made about this, but I just think just the simple thing of touch can mean just a little bit, whatever. Yeah, it can be hugs and things like this, but even just holding the arm and things like this, whatever. Listening, obviously, is really important. I'm sometimes, and my family will tell you, I'm desperate to get a word in. I'm terrible for it. And he goes, Dad, shut up, will you? I haven't finished yet.
Gosh, I've heard that as well.
Things go. But yeah, I think probably touch means so much, and I think also if maybe knowing of, being aware of relationships where touch doesn't happen. I can see those families who are very touchy, feely, things like this, whatever. I can see the relationships being really good, very open. Whereas those compared to not being like that, it's like, it's a different story. So, not for me, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Very good. So I suppose I've got to pick one out.
Come on, I'll pick one.
I'll
read it out. I'll read it out.
Emotion. Okay, go on, you read the mindfulness one now.
Right, okay. How much do you love Conleth? What do you think is important to be kind?
What do I think is important to be kind? I think it's really important to be kind because we just never know what someone's going through at that point. Lots of times where maybe, I've been angry towards someone, they don't know I'm angry towards them, but I'm talking about like traffic jams or on a busy train or something like this, and I just like have this rage inside, But I just think half the time, if we stop to ask someone, are you okay? We know what's going on, you're all right. And I think it can make the world of difference because the majority of the people that we pass on the streets, people who we might pass in the corridors at work, are probably all going through something. Like what Ian said there, there's periods where you can have a wake up and have a bad day, or a culmination of things that just makes you feel really low. Like sometimes, like what Conleth was saying, you can have periods of just feeling really anxious in the morning, or going to work, or being on those commutes to work and things like this. So yeah, I think don't judge anyone, I think is a really big thing, and just I put it recently down the social media, changed the Man Hugs logo to just be kind.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I think it's just the simplest thing. It's the simplest thing that we can do. It's just be kind to others. On that premise that we just don't know what someone's going through, and I think just by showing signs of kindness to people, the likelihood is that we can build better relationships and we can help people from really negative consequences.
I was talking to my wife about that earlier. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, but it's you put "be kind" on the thing on Insta, didn't you? And so on the wall in my kitchen, I've written the lyrics that I've had tattooed on me outside: "Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds." And then just underneath it, my wife sort of walked up and just put "be kind" in brackets, Chrissy. Which I was thinking, that kind of, that's just as powerful, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So, Dan, what did you have first? Mindfulness.
I've got to do another one. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a long podcast.
You need the opposite one.
I'm going for emotion then, haven't I?
So you need emotion.
I'll crying.
What is something that makes you feel upset?
Oh, Upset.
And it can't be Man United getting beat because, you know.
I'll be upset all the time. Right. Although they've done a lot better recently. Upset. I don't know if upset, perhaps more frustrated is feeling that I'm not able to help people as much as I'd like. And that's something I'm going through at work at the moment, is I feel that I'm constantly, and this is on me, it's not on the, colleagues or anything else. I feel like I should be doing better and helping people more. That's a personality flaw in myself, I know, but so that upsets me that I'm not able to help people.
That's anyone who works in health service. Yeah. We get into that job because we want to help people, don't we? But sometimes resources and limitations stop us from being able to do the best that we can. So yeah, I totally get that, mate. Ian, what did you have? Mindfulness or emotion?
Emotion, didn't I?
So you did mindfulness.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are some people you are thankful for at the moment and why? Good one.
Gosh. Obviously, yourselves. Obviously, because for today and stuff. Because obviously we have a theme around sort of addiction. It was Addiction Revisited. So it is thinking of that, and I've done some bit of reading and stuff in preparation that for today, and it is that exactly what Dan said before. It's sort of really, the friendship that we've over the last couple of years that has come from this has just been, God, it's been really helpful, supportive. God, we've had some laughs, we've done some amazing things. Do you know what I mean? Compare. I never thought it'd be comparing when we did the stuff for Palestine and those gigs we've been out. We were in recently we've been to Belfast and stuff as well, Wales, the caravan, all sorts of stuff. It's just been amazing, to be honest. So absolutely, this has been really important and stuff for that. So I'm obviously with yourselves. I guess for me at the moment, it's definitely my son and partner and stuff, I guess, because it's been a challenging year. There's been all sorts of stuff that's gone on, and obviously with the death of my dad. And I think, my wife, she's lost both her mum and dad, and my son and my sister particularly, because she helped me be mindful with my dad. There was one point where we knew he had 7 weeks. We had a diagnosis that it was like 7 weeks. We had 7 weeks, which is amazing. Some people don't get that, and Anna didn't get that with her mum or dad. So I was grateful for that, for my sister, for actually making me mindful. So I wasn't looking at each of those. Is it going to be today? Is it? And it was that, and actually just being in the moment and in the time, and it just helped me with my son. Just taking that time for dad and just being with my dad. I'm just so grateful for that we had that time where we actually, I love you, Dad, hugs, taking that time. We had laughs and fun as well as part of it. We did have some laughs and stuff as well, and so I'm just mindful for that. We had that short period of time, and I'm just grateful. And and grief, is something else, and it's universal, but it's unique to you as well in terms of its own ways. But just grateful for that, and I think Anna, my partner, because she her experience, and it made me mindful of that, and my son for actually then being part of that time and stuff with my dad as well. So I guess for that's been a big thing for this year and stuff for me. So definitely we're social beings, and we always think that as human beings we're social beings, and we need other people, and that's why I think that being kind to ourselves and to others is just so important for that. So yeah, just grateful for that.
Thanks, Ian. Conleth, what did you have?
I went emotion last night.
So you went mindfulness. Okay. So why do you think it's important to not worry about the past or the future? Good mindfulness trait.
Don't forget about the past in particular, because reflection, you learn from that. But it's spilt milk. It's like, okay, let's do this, move on, let's learn from it, and then actually just okay, let's not let that happen again. You can see these things like it's like I'm sure what Chris will say whenever he comes on, just talking about you can predict how things are actually going to happen in a way. So does that worry about the future? Well, we all beans and things like this. Like, you know, sometimes I thought, oh, whenever my kids grow up, that's it, whatever. And the kids growing up, they're doing well, it's fantastic, they're independent, whatever. Do we still worry? Yes. You know, you can't cut the apron strings, you know, they're still there. And there is always going to be an element to worry, but I think, again, it's just, you know, looking at the past, what things have done, actually just, that does help you set up for your future. In a way. Reading that again, just...
No, you're right. Why do you think it's important to not worry about the past or the future?
No.
If you think about the basic principles of mindfulness, what they teach in a lot of cultures, is that we spend so much energy dwelling on the past.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd changed it, I wish I didn't say that. Or we spend a lot of time worrying about the future. And both of them, we've not really got any control over either of them. So mindfulness is about going, well, do you know what, in this second now, there's a cake in front of me and there's some water and I'm among people and I'm safe and there's no lions in the room, and it's about reducing stress that way of going, well, actually what I've got in the middle, it's not too bad, is it?
And that. That's right.
and I suppose that's kind of it, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, you kind of said that. It's like learn from the past.
Exactly.
Don't live in it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, you know, because I have had issues in the past and things like this, whatever, and it's just, you know, people say, oh, we should do this and go for counselling and things like this, but, you know, the awful thing is sometimes I relate it to what people are going through now at the minute, and I think I had a fucking charmed life, or I really have done that, you know, so I'm very thankful for the life I've actually had, so, and hopefully, you know, pass that on. There was a Duchamp actually said, I've sowing the seeds, I've grown the cabbages, just like, yeah, that's it, move on. Like,
Think that's Percy Thrower.
Percy Thrower, yeah. You know, like, you know, Duchamp turned on his grave, like, you know, he's saying that. Like, you know.
What did I have before, Conleth? What was up? Flip that card out.
You had mindfulness.
Oh yeah, you had, mindfulness,
okay, go on,
emotions.
Read me an emotion one then.
Oh, describe the last time you felt sad.
Oh, last time I felt sad. Do you know what? It's really cliche. It's probably last time I watched the news. I try to not watch the news as much, but whenever you see what's going on in parts of the world, you can just not, comprehend what's going on and feel, with your own privilege, anything but sadness, you know, and hopelessness as well with it, really, you know, in terms of, similar to what Dan was saying before, you know, you don't want to be able to feel that way, but you're really out of control of what you can actually do one-to-one, isn't it, you know, in terms of making changes. So yeah, I try to avoid the news as much as I can, really, because I do get that an awful lot, that just real feeling of like, God, you know, I've got a house and I've got this, but when you're seeing things going on in the world, it's horrible, isn't it? So thank you very much for engaging in my game. It has helped you, hopefully, to think about the importance of being mindful.
Just say one thing about mindfulness, you know, and I think it's important for blokes, actually maybe saying this, every time I think of mindfulness, I always think of Ruby Wax or Davina McCall and women, like, you know, doing this. And I do think it's important, like, obviously, well, we know it's important for men, but sometimes it does seem to be more that feminine side. And I do think, you know, not challenge it, just go and accept it.
Well, that's interesting, because I learned from a lot of mine from the likes of, when you look at a lot of the Asian texts around Buddhist monks, etc., and people in martial arts as well. It's that yin and yang, isn't it? If you've got to work out, which is part of it, you know, that working out, which we know the physical side, but the working in is the bit which we, in Western society, we're rubbish at. We don't work in, we don't do mindfulness, we don't do breathing, we don't focus on the millisecond rather than futures and past. So yeah, it's a really interesting area, isn't it? I think we will do a future podcast. There's a guy who I used to work quite closely with, and he's a mindfulness pain expert. He worked with TGB and all kinds of people. He's an amazing guy, so I'm going to try and get him on
Norman
to
as
do.
well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, try and get a live mindfulness session that we can all do, because they're really important. And I think we've shown today, you know, with the likes of addiction and lots of other mental health complications, how the use of mindfulness is necessary, really. We need to start bringing it into our daily living. Ian, just before we finish this, give us your plug for your book. I know you've been reading The Urge by...
Yeah, it was just preparation for this on addictions. This is a book it's called The Urge by Carl Eric Fisher, published by Scribe. Came out 2022, and it's really two stories. Carl Eric Fisher, he's American, and he is a psychiatrist, and he works and specialises in addictions. As I said, it's 2 stories because it's his own personal story, so it's that lived experience. And I've not completed a book, but I've read the start and the finish, just to get, as I said, just because I was captivated by the book, and he uses his own personal experiences to illustrate. The second part, which is about that, it says our history of addiction, so it's about that history of addictions right through, ancient times to the epidemics that we've seen, the opioid epidemics in the sort of 2000s in America, and he covers, both those areas, and it's just very personable read in terms of actually trying to draw upon that. And I love this whole thing. He talks about addiction, but he says this bit here, he said, addiction is a terrifying breakdown of reason. And I think, is that we've touched on it today, haven't we, about that whole, well, you've got a choice with addictions, but it's also that compelling behaviour, and he looks and examines that, and he talks about, obviously the therapeutic and prohibitionist different approaches, reductionist, mutual aid, some of the things that are topics and stuff of today, but it's a really, really good read, and the fact it's based on personal experience, I think, makes it even more powerful. And I said it's a recent book, but The Urge, Carl Eric Fisher.
So there you go, one of Ian's amazing book recommendations, The Urge, Carl Eric Fisher. We're going to take a very short break, and then we're going to be joined by Chris Puddephatt of the Spider Project.
You're listening to the Men's Mental Health Podcast, The Man Hug.
Okay, it's this time of the Man Hug when we shine a spotlight on a local or national charity, and we're joined by Chris Puddephatt, who is here from the Spider Project. Chris, welcome to the Man Hug.
Oh, welcome to everybody here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's amazing. So we were joined by Mel Bowen over 2.5 years ago, the last time we had Chris Kirkland on. So an update from yourself is going to be really valuable, as I'm sure lots of things have changed in 2.5 years. And also information about the Silk team, because it's something I wasn't aware of. And I've seen you talking passionately about it on Instagram.
Yes.
But first off, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, it was good to hear from Chris before Chris's story. He was very open and honest, candid about what he's been through. And I think it's important that we are, if we've got a story to tell, I'll keep it dead brief. So I had a problem with alcohol for a long time, managed to get free from it eventually when I was in my late 40s. So at the time, it was one of them, it was always going to be the case for me. I was always going to be a drinker, resigned to the fact, but events, proved otherwise. So I managed to get sober through, and Chris touched on it. I thought he emphasised the point really well, and it's important. He got support, he got help. He sorted it himself in the first place, but he got support. I decided, to surrender to the illness, if we can call it that, and that's when I got clean and my life started over again. So I changed the way I was taught to change the way I thought about things. So a lot of gratitude came into my life, a lot of humility came in, and then just having a fresh start and being glad to be alive, because it was touch and go for me. It was that bad. Like a lot of people with addiction, Chris mentioned it, whether it's self-inflicted or through actual physical bodily harm. So I then started to think about what I was going to do regards mental health, having been an engineer for over 20 years with a big utility company. So I went down that road of giving back in my private life and in my personal life and professionally. And that's where I am now. That sort of led me to where I am now, helping other people. I've worked face-to-face. I've worked in hospitals as a carer. I've worked in mental health in general. And I've also worked directly with drug and alcohol services, working with people with addiction of all different types of addiction. Currently, and I've managed a crisis. I've helped to manage a crisis cafe as well for 12 months with people with self-defined crises going on the brink of suicide. A lot of that. So that's shaped the way I practice for the good, I think. And now I'm on a team called the Silk team. That's what we call it. It's been around 2 years, so that would have been just after you spoke to Mel. That was introduced. I think there was a need for it. Wirral Ways, in their wisdom at the time, you know, and other services thought, you know, let's get this off the ground. And so it started about 2 years ago. It's evolved, it's built. It's a fortunate thing or an unfortunate thing. We've got more people, more families with us now that we support. We're a smallish team. There's myself and another person, Helen. She won't mind me mentioning her name, but we've got a lot of experience between us. I've got some, as I've talked about, both professional and personal. And Helen's got quite a lot of experience as well regards working with families, some social work and probation work as well. It's real down to earth Geordie, so shout out to Helen. And we supported families in the SILT team, so that's where I'm at. I could talk about that, obviously, so I'll shut up for a second.
No, that's amazing, Chris. Thank you so much. So the SILT, I think that's important for the SILT team because we have we've had a lot of organisations on who help with a wide array of addictions. We've had gambling, you know, we've had drug and alcohol. We on our Gym Culture podcast, we were promoting services that also help people with steroid addiction and things. But families kind of always get overlooked, really. So it's nice that you've got this set up because obviously the impact of someone with addictions can be pretty, you know, on a family can be quite stressful, can't it, and strained, you know. So what types of things does SILT team do? And
so just to sort of paint a picture on that, I think the support out there for families isn't great. Let's be honest, it's not great. We've got Al-Anon, you know, which is fantastic. I know all about Al-Anon, linked to obviously the mutual aid, AA, NACA, GA, whatever. We've got that. But it isn't great out there, and it's proved to be the case. People are reaching out to us because there is no support. There's support within the family. They can talk with you, but they're not the experts. They're not experienced in it. They've had no direct experiences themselves with other than what they've got within that family unit. So what we do is we get the referrals coming in from various, I won't go through all them, various different sort of avenues. You know, professionally, self-referrals, a lot of drug and alcohol services will come to us, GPs, mental health, probation, like loads of different areas. And then we'll sort of have an initial chat, and what we offer, really, is the main thing is we try and talk about listen to the feelings, because they've not been listened to other than that family unit. And they need to get it out there, because the phrase that's often used by a lot of people that are challenged with the loved one's behaviour, addictive behaviour, is where we are at our wits' end. It's used over and over again. Honestly, that's one thing they talk about. We don't know what to do next for the best. There's a lot of emotional blackmail going on. And I don't say that lightly, but that tends to be the case. You know, it's a secretive illness, really, very secretive. We talked about that before. So they're not getting to the bottom of what's going on. They're just seeing the really, really devastating effects, because they're not getting the truth. Everything's just, you know, cloak and dagger, really, smoke and mirrors sort of thing. And so there's an emotional problem with going on with the families. For instance, parents of maybe somebody that's alcohol or drugs, cocaine, whatever, you know, elderly parents, 60s, 70s, 80s, they've got a young child, you know, or you know, maybe in the 30s or 40s, are owing money to drug dealers. So their lives have been sort of ripped apart with financially. So there's financial problems there going on as well. There's physical problems with themselves because they're so stressed out. We're dealing this attritionally, because this has been going on for a long time. They've been supporting. So there's enabling behaviours going on. There's boundaries all over the place. Now, we don't directly talk about enabling, because I feel that's quite a strong word to start talking about enabling. But that's what they come to us. I know I've been enabling. They say, no, you've been loving, you've been trying to support, you've been trying to do your best. I always look at it and say, what you're doing is without you realising it, you as a family are gathering data. You're lending the money. You're putting a roof over the head. You're helping. You're doing whatever it is, in the hope that things will change for the better. But it doesn't, and the brain's telling you, well, that's not worked. But so then you know we can't keep doing this over and over again. That's where the blackmail comes in. You know, so people will shift all the blame onto the parents or the loved one to try and continue with their addiction, which is their way of surviving. Let's face it, that's why they do it. They do it on a daily basis because they're trying to survive. That's what gets them through. That's their crutch. So we talk about boundaries and enabling behaviour, but not in a soft way, in an encouraged way. And the most important thing we do, I'll finally say, we try and come up with a plan for them. So there's a plan. There's something there that they can work towards, because we can't wave any magic wands. They can't. We can't. And then eventually, when we can get to a stage where we can directly influence the actual person that's challenged with the addiction, and we may be able to talk to them at some point, and we have done that where we've worked with them, because the awareness of that person that's in addiction, they start to become aware that the impact it's having, i.e. their families getting support, mental health support from professionals, if you like, then it's like, hang on a minute, this is, what am I doing here? This, it sort of raises the bar a bit with their behaviours and makes them start to look at themselves and take, and maybe want to change. It can do, and it has done. So that's what we're doing. But the main thing is that we offer that lifeline, that they've got somebody to talk to, and validate the decision-making process about setting those boundaries and being quite tough with decision-making. So that sort of thing.
That sounds incredible. It's really good for the families to suppose gain this new knowledge, really, through meeting yourselves. Because you said there about even just changing the language of enabling to loving them is really powerful, I think. And it takes a lot of that stress off the family members, that they're not doing the wrong thing, in that sense. What an amazing thing. So in terms of peer support, do they get to meet as well? And
we get that. So we'll offer them, one-to-one chats whenever, really. If they need an immediate one, that's fine. If it's a phone call, that's fine. Obviously, with availability, we would talk to people. We're set up so we can talk to them at satellite places as well, on the Wirral, as well as our own, as well as the actual project in Birkenhead. So we've got various places we can meet, and we have the peer support group, like you say, and that proved to be really successful, really helpful for people. They enjoy, and we enjoy listening and then feeding off each other, with ideas and suggestions, and knowing that they're not on their own with their predicament, their situation. It's not just them, that they've been, that others are experiencing the same thing, and people have become friends and they know each other, and they turn up and they look forward to it. They really look forward to it. We can get quite a really, really good turnout, and it's chilled. It's great place. It's at Campaneros on a Thursday evening. We do that 5 till 7, and we have some real stories, and it can be quite quite intense. There's some heartbreaking stories going on, but then everything gets out in the open. They get it out, and they feel so much better for it. And it's the start. It's the start of their journey. Then things are things are looking like they could go in the right direction. There's a bit of hope. So that's a big word for people.
Amazing. That's so therapeutic for families as well, to be around people that experience them. I was just thinking going right back to 2.5 years ago when Conleth was talking about PADA, the Parents Against Drug Abuse.
That was just at the tip of my tongue there. I was going to mention about the Wirral, or whatever. Just saying,
Wirral, not the Wirral.
Well, I know. Listen, I'm welcome there. I bring fresh genetic material into it. I'll just leave that.
There's no tea in Wirral.
However, a lot of people don't sometimes realise all the things actually started there. Like you said, PADA, Parents Against Drug Abuse, started in the Fort Estate, became national. The Wirral actually had the lowest rates of HIV, because it was the first place to set up the needle exchange system back in the late 80s. And now as well, you've got the project you actually have there, and I don't know whether it's a phrase you like to hear or whatever, but Birkenhead Village, what they've actually done for people of addiction. They look at this nationally. This is what you should be following. Where recoveries, all those within that little area, Argyle Street, the whole lot, and it is phenomenal. The work that's actually done there, and it's all done by local people, lived experience again. So I just think it is our sound. But you're right. You were that about the PADA, things. It's those things where I've had enough of this, and that's PADA was the mums. I've had enough of my kids being on the gear and things like that. Like, you know, because it was like, remember we were talking about Mel, was it? Mel Bowen from the Spider.
Yes.
And you know, what was it? It was all about the issue about they always had, you know, not marijuana, they were all smoking this, whatever. Next thing it just stopped, whatever, and heroin came in. And obviously it was the Woodchurch estate as well. You actually had that, and it was local people went, we need to do something around this, and they did it. Like, you know, and I just think it's powerful. Like, you know,
it is.
So thank you for that, and thank you for that.
No, it's all right. Yeah, no, that's it. I think the parent, you know, it's just they're helping themselves as well, aren't they? You know, so it's going crossways.
Good call, yeah.
You know, it's.
How do people get involved then, Chris? You know, if people are listening and they go, you know, I could do with some support with this, a bit of education on you know, my relative's addiction or whatever. How do they get involved?
Well, they can get online and go on the Spider Project website, look it up, just put Spider Project Birkenhead, be on there, everything's on there, there's a phone number. All they need to do is phone us. They just need to phone us. I mean, we've got quite a heavy social media present on all the platforms. So it's there. Look for Silk. You'll see it. You're a phone call away from getting some help, getting some support. Yeah,
amazing. And just a bit of a recap then, because you've summed up amazingly how beneficial the Silk team is. But the Spider Project's a bit bigger than that, isn't it?
Well, I mean, normally my normal sort of default would be to talk about Spider Project. So I'm conscious. I'm honing in on the Silk. So the quick chat with Mel before I came. And what I think it's, you know, the Spider Project, we're a creative arts project. So we it's about people are abstinent from drug or alcohol. So they come to us, whatever stage. There might be a day, there might be a week, there might be a year, whatever it is. It's all individual, really. You know, and there's a massive element of trust about everybody that's involved with mental health addiction. There's no such thing as a lost cause. We give everybody a chance within reason. Obviously, look at the risks and stuff like that, but everybody is welcome. So creative arts, you know, there's a lot of people there that untapped potential. They want interest. They get, if they're interested to play the guitar, they can develop playing the guitar. They haven't got a clue about painting. They can get interested in painting, pottery, whatever, outdoor stuff, music. You know, we do drama. So there's loads of that going on for people. Obviously, has a direct impact on their mental health. So we're very inclusive. We pride ourselves on that. We're authentic. You know, it is what it says on the tin. It's creative recovery. It's all about being creative. So and the members lead on that. So we love the fact that they lead on loads of things. You know, whether it's a stage performance or they're writing their own music, producing their own music. There, we're inclusive. I say, everybody, every colour, creed, whatever sex, gender is welcome, and that creates an atmosphere of learning about themselves, about their prejudices, about where they're at in with their recovery. Because, you know, let's face it, wherever you are in the country, you know, in certain areas it's quite insular. There's a lot of insulated thinking going on, and they're not expanding. And then all of a sudden they come to realise, they look at somebody from X, wherever they're from, and realise that person is just like me, only, you know, and they're so talented and they're so lovely and they're so warm and friendly. So we love to encourage that sort of way, and that's as part of their recovery, because they're changing. You know that, you know, nothing changes. All these cliches I'm coming out of there, but they, you know, it's true, and people love to change when they know they can change, and they see a result. They think, wow, things can be different. So we get obviously we refer people to other organisations. We don't like referring for sake. That's no good. You know, we want people to come out with a solid, sort of having a solid crack at something, you know, with substance, whether that's going back to uni or getting a job or volunteering or taking up a hobby or focusing on the health. You know, that's what we're about. And again, having a plan, setting a time on that. You know, so that they got something to work towards. I could go on and on.
It's a special place, isn't it?
It is, and it's a unique
really
building. It's got a great vibe to it, lovely music. You know, I wish it was open at night, to be honest. You could turn it into some sort of speakeasy without you know what, you know, that sort of thing, because it's so unique, you know, colourful as well, and everybody, all the artwork in there is, you know, made by the members. None of the furniture and stuff like that, the creation of the place. We've got 3 levels. We've got our music studio, and then we've got our minibus now as well. We've had that a while.
Yeah.
It's been going a long time as well. The place has been going a long time. I've been there about 5 years. I think Spider's been going about 17 years. So the amount of people it's helped and supported and changed lives, it's unbelievable, really. So hats off to it.
Yeah. I remember when in the early days when it was by Woodside and just watching it grow to different buildings and expanding, and as you say, the people that it's helped and changed lives. Met many of those along the way as well. It's a remarkable place. It really is. And as you say, I think it's because the culture that's been created there that come in and you're just one of us, and it's that community straight away, isn't it? It's amazing.
I know. I will say this: I got introduced to Spider by a certain gentleman that told me about it a few years ago. Well, 5 years ago. Dean, yourself told me, why don't you give him a shout? So I thank Dean for that obviously massively. He knows a bit about me, I'm sure, through Mel and that. So I'm very grateful it's given me an opportunity. It's been part of my journey throughout my life. So it's great, and stuff like that happens. People that come in that work for us. I've had addiction stuff going on in their lives. I don't like saying issues or struggles. I try and say challenges. I don't like issues or struggles. It's self-deprecating. I've got to struggle with this, with that. It's like change the wording.
Chris, just on that, because it's really important, because again, there might be people out there that have got similar lived experience. How beneficial have you found is it to take your own lived experience to then go and help other people? Do you find that you have a more of a emotional connection, or is it you've got a better understanding, haven't you?
I have, and I can sometimes predict, because I've been through the stages of it. I've seen my family go through the stages, what goes on. Say in AA and mutual aid groups, you go into a meeting and you'll go, I'm not stopping drinking because that's not happened to me yet. I've not lost my job yet. I've not lost my car yet. I've not lost my kids yet. I've not been in hospital yet. And they say, well, then you go in the next time and you're like, well, actually, shit, I've just lost my licence. And they'll go, that's because, and I think all the yets keep coming in one by one. So when somebody says to me, this is happening to my son in his marriage, it's falling apart, he's taking time off work, we've got people knocking on the door asking for money, you can sort of predict what's going to happen next. So you sort of say, and did this happen, did that happen? And you know what they'd lied to the loved ones. And it's like, oh yeah, that is happening, that is right, you are right, But then I say, well, this is what we need to sort of do next to stop from the next yet from happening, or try to at least. Because I was saying, in my experience, this is what I don't necessarily have to say it's mine, but what I know and what I suggest you do is X, Y, or Z. And then they think, oh well, I think he knows what he's talking about. I think he's got some sort of clout to this,
Yeah, I think it's really true. When we had Damien John Kelly House, it was very similar there. It was, the guys who run Damien John Kelly House are all lived experience themselves, helping other people. And I think the power of it is role modelling. When people see that, oh God, look at Chris, 5 years been waiting to Spider, that's amazing, he's helping other people. That's got to be an inspiration to people,
Yeah, amazing. Definitely. It is. It's all about support and help, change the way. Once you get, if you're it's change the playground is the big one, isn't it? That's huge. You've got to change your playground. Mix with the right people, and you've got half a chance. I mean, stopping's easy to say, staying stop's the hardest part. And if you can have a plan and maintain it by doing the right things, then you've got half a chance of you turning your life around, and things sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly, will materialise. And that's the way you look at it, and giving people hope. I keep saying that word. Instead of getting criticism, you're a piece of shit. All you are, sorry to swear, all you are is whatever. You start saying, well, look at you. I can see the sparkle coming back in your eyes now. Oh, can you? Yeah, wow, look at you. Most people have this element of vanity in them, and it's important to big them up. So, yeah, all sorts of stuff like that, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, you're saying there earlier about, is it because there's this public perception, like, drug addict is this someone lying on the streets, or an alcoholic, like, dishevelled, all those kind of things. But, it's a functioning, like, I can still function and still drink all this. Is that, do you think there's still that element where people go, oh, well, that's not me.
Yeah, definitely, because they kept getting away with it. I think that
I like that getting away with it. Like,
it's always getting away, but I'm getting away with it. I'm having a life here. I'm doing this line here. I'm drinking this. So I've got my cans. I'm nipping out for a walk. I'm having a quarter bottle of vodka. She doesn't know. Whatever. Still got the job. I'm getting away with it. I'm getting the buzz. Everyone else is missing a trick. That's the sort of mentality I was in. And you still got this lifestyle. You've got both. Basically, you're greedy. Until it all comes crashing down, and which it will, because the addiction gets worse and your health gets increases and your health gets decreases, gets worse, and that's the fact of life with poisoning your body.
So, from you on the other side of that lens, then obviously you see all of this support that's available for people.
Yeah.
Fantastic support. How do we sort of get that message more to people, that there is hope, that you can change things around and you can engage in all of these amazing services and projects and be with people who are, compassionate and want to help you change your direction, really?
Yeah.
It's a big thing, isn't it?
It is. You're asking a big question there. I'd love to be able to just say, how can we do it more? I mean, government needs to get involved at the end of the day. We need to get local councils to be splashing more money on advertising as well, as much as possible. There's all different types of things, isn't there? We do our best. We've got a social media guy now working for us. He does as much as he can. We canvass. I go out a lot doing outreach work, hospitals. We're in touch with hospitals, the alcohol abuse team there, substance misuse team rather. GP surgeries. I've personally been in every GP surgery in the world. Having chats with practice managers and stuff, and doing presentations there. Schools, we visit schools, colleges, women's groups like Tomorrow's Women. We've got surgery in Tomorrow's Women, so Helen does that. Loads of stuff. Well, so we're doing our bit, but I think we it would be nice for maybe for a big fat check to come in for and something to advertising really. Yeah.
You're filling the gap, aren't you? That's not there by the NHS, and
of course
what you're saying, a lot of it's resonating with me from a patient that I spoke to last week who's in dire straits really, and the phrase he used at the wit's end, for their husband who clearly loves his wife very much, has actually written a letter to the practice saying how worried he is, and just feels trapped because the patient in question just has mental health problems which are fueled by the alcoholism. Mental health team won't necessarily work with the patient until she's been seen by alcohol services and off the alcohol, and she's in this vicious circle. And I, as a practitioner in a GP surgery, just feels helpless because there is there's no provision in my area anyway. I was going to ask how far reaching you are really. There's no provision for that poor patient, but also husband. They're just caught in no man's land. Of course, and you feel powerless and frustrated, and just see every single flaw that the health system in this country has within that one situation when it comes to addiction and the management
it's
of it.
Very little wraparound care. I mean, that's the way I look at it, because somebody like that with dual diagnosis is going on. That's probably the hardest kind to crack really, because they've got maybe ADHD. They're desperate for the meds. I've got ADHD. That's why I drink, sort of thing. You get a lot of that going on. We get a lot of that. I need the meds. The meds won't be administered until they sort the drinking out. So, or the drug use. I mean, ideally, in the old days, it still happens now, is like, you get somebody coming knocking on the door. The parents, to be fair, I think it's worth emphasising to any parents or any daughters, sons, or anybody that they love that's got some addiction challenges. You can do quite a lot. You can do a hell of a lot for your loved one. You can. I've known people getting personal experience of getting, they'll drop them off at a meeting. They don't want to go, but they're dropping them off. They go in, they walk over the threshold, go to a meeting at night, and they'll come straight out after half an hour. This isn't for me, but they've crossed the threshold. They've made a start. They thought, and then something else comes crashing down. Shit, I better go back to Last Chance Saloon here. This is Last Chance Saloon. So the parents can do a lot, and once some of these support groups, whether Wirral Ways offer the smart groups, you can get into drug and alcohol services, you'll get a key worker. You get a flavour, you get a feel of what help is out there for you. And then it's obviously down to the individual to somehow, at that some moment in time, think, I'm going to have to surrender here because, it's killing me. It's killing everybody else. It's killing me. And they may not stop straight away, but they've started to get involved with things, and the things are changing. Obviously, relapsing is part of addiction. It's all intertwined.
It's just like, the public health side of me is kicking in here, because there's a model we use called the Projanska-Diclements model.
Yeah.
And it is that kind of thing. You bring a horse to water, you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing, but we're here for you.
Yeah.
Do this. And it takes in relapse and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then alongside that, we also use the nudge theory, like, go on.
Yeah,
go on,
that's
go
it.
on. It's a mixture of things, like,
It
so,
is.
it is being practiced, but as you said, it has to be that person.
Eventually.
What is the carrot on the stick to make them go, I need to change?
Well, I think one of the things I mentioned it before is, if people go around in a vicious circle, families, for instance, where they're constantly enabling, let's use that word, a loved one, nothing will change.
Yeah.
So you do, at some point, and I've had personal experience of this, is the candy has to be withdrawn. It has to be taken away from the thing. All the goodies have to be taken away, whether that's money or provisions or help, support. That's material things. You can have this, you can have that. I'll help you, sub you. You can have a roof over your head, even though you're wrecking our lives in here and turning everyone's life upside down. At some point, you have to get people to their rock bottom. They have to reach their rock bottom, and that's the sad part. And there can be casualties as a result of that. Not always it gets to that stage. Some people are wise enough, clever enough to get out while they can. Because there's an elevator when you're on the thing. There's only one way down, right to the bottom. You don't want to wait till you get right to the bottom. You want to get off at one of the levels before that happens. That's the way to look at it. But people have got their own individual sort of rock bottoms, haven't they? And it is very difficult to know what's going on in that mind. Like you said there, Colin. As long as you're giving them what's on offer, then. If you're not giving them any of that, then you've no chance. But at least you're giving it to them. And words stick. They might not stick at the time, but they do stick with people. Small words stick. I know for a fact they stick. I've had stuff said to me that I thought nothing of at the time, but at some point in my life I've used it as inspiration, and it's kept me, and I remember it to this day. I remember stuff to this day. One guy said to me, I came out of rehab, I was feeling terrible about myself, lonely, lost everything. I was sober, been away for 3 weeks. An ex-sponsor who's a lovely guy decided to part ways because of drinking. And it wasn't expected to phone me up because I'd been silly over the phone to him. He phoned me up, he said, you do know everything's going to be okay, don't you, Chris? Literally, that's what he said to me. You do know everything's going to be okay. And it was like God talking to me. And those words have stuck to me. I thought, everything's going to be okay. So if we're gentle and we're kind and caring to people, we've got half a chance.
Mm. I think that's a lovely way to finish it, Chris. Honestly, amazing. First off, I just want to thank you for obviously sharing your own experience as well. It's everything that the Man Hug's about is, just normalising the conversation and giving people that platform to tell their stories. So amazing. But God, the Spider Project's amazing, isn't it? It's fantastic. Yeah. So last big plug for the Spider Project. If anyone wants to find out more or go on the website, what do they need to do then?
Get on the internet.
Yeah, the old interweb.
The interweb. Type in Spider Project Birkenhead. Yeah. We're on there. 01516477723. I can't remember the email address. I'll find the website. But go on there. Just give us a call or email us. And that's all you need to do. We're all over. I say all the social platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And there's loads of stuff on there, and you can have a nosy and see what you think and come in, and we'd be happy for you to join us. And think you get ready, you learn to play an instrument. If you've never picked up a guitar before, then maybe you want to do that. So all sorts of stuff. Pottery, we do pottery. Amazing. So there we go.
Chris, once again, just thank you so much, and obviously. From us, just thanks for everything that you guys do as well. It's such incredible impact in our community. It's needed, and as we said, not just the people with addiction, but for families as well. It's such a valuable resource. So amazing.
Thank you. Thanks for letting us come on the show today. Appreciate it. Thanks, chaps.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
If you or anybody else you know is struggling with their mental health, visit hubofhope.co.uk or download the app today and find local and national mental health support.
You're listening to the Men's Mental Health Podcast, The Man Hug.